but I have to fucking tell you guys. Okay, but anyway, so we have 2 schools in the district. I work at Central. There's also South. South is the more underprivileged one, where a lot of the minorities and people of lesser economic chances go. But the new principal started over the summer, and he's a very nice black man. I was speaking with him for the one day I was over at that school over the summer, just trying to get the ropes of how everything worked in the schools and everything. But he went to his first, football game because the school year finally started, and he's just walking around saying hi to students and stuff, and not parents, not just random people. The students at his own fucking school were calling him a faggot and the N-word.
Oh my god.
And that's not even all of it. To top it off, there was a kid who had, smiley face underwear on. He pulled it down, making a joke. And the principal saw it. He's like, all right, pull your pants up. That's not really appropriate for a school function. Like, come on. And the guy looked at him and said, why are you looking at my underwear? Are you a pedophile? And then he saw a female walking around, and she had a fishnet top on and nothing else. So, underage girl, you could see booba. And he's like, hey, that's not appropriate. You're underage. Also at a school function, put a shirt on. And she said something to the effect of, you're a man. Why are you looking at my tits? Are you a pedophile?
Nice.
That is that man's first experience with the students, really. And I feel so fucking bad for him because he wanted to genuinely do good there from, what I got talking to him.
Right. I mean, that sounds like exactly how kids are today.
And it's just, it's fucking sad. But yeah, I found that out today, and there's a patch article on it, so I didn't want to say too much on, the podcast, because it's very identifiable information.
It's not that it's kids today. I mean, obviously kids have always been, disrespectful to authority figures, because that's just a thing.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, but what you have to realize is that unfortunately that's a lot more common and a lot more obvious, egregious, whatever you want to call it, in areas of, worse situations.
Yeah, because rich people have more tact and know how to hide it better.
No, it's not. It's not. I mean, it's just a simple, weird fact that unfortunately, the worse off you are. I mean, it's kind of the I mean, basically, what it boils down to is that when you're in school and you give up, I mean, you'll notice that people like that who have just kind of given up and are like, it doesn't matter what I do. Yeah, they do shit like that. Like why would you respect an authority figure for an institution that in your mind has failed you, right? I mean, we see that a lot with the police now. People are fighting against the police, and I mean, God help me, the term pig has not been used so much since the death of Biggie Smalls.
True.
And it's legitimately just a thing because unfortunately, in, like you said, kind of lower, I mean, just lower, lower income areas, like school is not kind of what we experience,
Oh, definitely not. We had one of the best tax bases for our school in the state.
Right. Like, it's 100% a thing where, did our school have fights? Sure. Yeah, did our school have kids who obviously gave up and just kind of went there to fuck around and, hang out? 100%. But the concentration was lower. There was never a girl walking around in, basically a see-through, tuna catcher.
I mean, kids are getting worse now, not because of shit, it's because of the last 2 years of COVID. Because they literally didn't grow up. From the teachers that I've talked to, freshmen now act like they're still in fucking early middle school. Like they haven't grown up socially because they literally weren't in the social situations they should have been in.
I mean, look, I'm not a teacher. I can't really verify that, but I guarantee you that is probably something that every teacher has said, every new generation of students.
No, it might be. I don't know.
And all that it really boils down to is that as you get older, you have less of a tolerance for, stupidity. It's literally why every adult will eventually one day in their life say, youth is wasted on the young. It's because, unfortunately, as your strength score goes down, as your con score goes down, as your dex score goes down, your int wisdom and, sometimes charisma goes up. And when you look at the people who are wasting those good stats, while, you're kind of getting the, what most classes would consider a dump stat, yeah, it's kind of like, well, fuck them kids. So look, obviously can't verify this. I am neither a psychologist nor am I a teacher, but I would be willing to bet that kids are no more disrespectful than they were,
I'm
way
not
back
saying
in the
that
day.
they're more disrespectful, that they haven't grown up socially because they were taken out of the element that they should have been in for 2 years.
I guess, but
What is that?
like it's not like social contact literally stopped. There were plenty of avenues for social, you know, events, just not in person.
Right,
And
social, but
I
so
mean,
but being in a school is entirely different than, going to a baseball game or something like that. Being
I'm
around a
not
group of your peers for,
mm,
hours a day, or that's a way that someone forms into who they are as a person.
I'm not saying that it's not a
Mm,
case of where obviously there would be some effect, but what I am saying is that
mm.
at the end of the day, like when it comes down to it, I would be willing to bet you that the people least affected by COVID and the lockdown were probably kids. Because kids were just like, cool, I'll just go on Discord and
No, no,
get in a call with my friends.
they were negatively affected, not necessarily as bad as other people, because there's stuff that kids do online anyways.
Mhm.
I mean, all of their fucking math read everything is down by a huge margin.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, that's
crazy.
that's noticeable. That's just a
Okay,
proven fact
I
that,
can't.
like, intelligence kind of went down because of
I
COVID.
I think it was
Oh,
reading. I can't say for sure because I don't remember. I was reading what it said, but I think it was reading. It's like it went down for the first time in like 40 years or something because of like COVID, which understandable. If your teacher's not there forcing you to read, you're probably not going to read
Right.
at a young age. So like,
yeah, but what I would also be curious about is that something that is specific to the United States? Because honestly, I'd be willing to bet it is.
oh yeah, 100%. The statistic is for the U.S.
We're the only country that matters. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Yep,
I mean, I have to
how that
imagine
works.
I have to imagine that it COVID didn't have as huge of an impact, maybe school wise, in some other countries. Mostly because I feel like school is taken more seriously there, and not just fucking tests thrown
Glorified
at
daycare.
kids. Yeah, just tests over and over and over again for no reason.
Yeah,
But I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't live in other countries. So I don't know.
I mean, look, let's be 100% real. There's a reason why the United States has, some of the lowest aptitude basically out of all the major developed countries, and it's exactly like you said. It's that school's not designed to teach people, it's designed to help you. It's a memorization factor.
Mhm.
Oh
Can
yeah.
you memorize? Good. Okay. A, B, C. A, B, C. Like, that's it.
Well, schools were
So,
made as a way to transition people from, childhood into working and, following orders to work, in a factory or in a mine
Mhm.
or an assembly, facility. They
not
weren't
not
supposed to
true,
be taught
actually.
these grandiose. That's what college was for, and that's why college was for, select people way back whenever we were more of a
No, no, no. So,
producing economy.
so actually, that's completely off. So schools actually were probably one of humanity's greatest,
Mhm.
like, social creations. Because quite frankly, no, you do not need an education from a school in order to work in a factory or a mine. Not
No,
even
they,
close.
they they wanted to train people to sit there and do the thing that they're told to do for multiple hours a day and make sure that they were capable of doing that. And that's why we
I
don't
doubt
really learn much in high school and it's a glorified memorization thing because they weren't prepared to have to teach us actual critical thinking and higher education stuff. It was a way to funnel people into the industries that needed more bodies.
Mhm.
See, I
Hey,
don't buy that. I literally don't buy that because at the end of the day, you don't need school to do that. You literally don't. This is literally, well, at least it is very popularly theorized that it's a major strategy of one of the two major political parties in America. Because they're literally doing it right now, where they're defunding public schools,
Mhm.
making it so that the only ones available are private schools that you have to pay for or
Mhm.
religious schools.
So
And
they can teach
that
you the
is
values they want to be taught.
right. But it is also because, in
Mm.
general, that is going to lower access to education.
Yeah,
And
that same party wants to privatize literally everything.
but
Mhm.
again, going to your point about how education is this thing to teach you to
That's
follow
what
orders
constitutes.
so you can work in a factory, that's just not it. Look, at the end of the day, what's going to get you into a factory following orders is your bills. That's it.
Mm.
I mean,
It is not that
that's
it
part
is
of it.
not it, I would say it's all of it. People
No,
people who don't have a good education are just as are 100% likely to end up in routine, mundane, follow order jobs.
right, which is why
Because
they want public schools to be absolutely useless like they effectively have been for the last, 30, 40 years.
public schools are not useless.
They are
Any
becoming increasingly more useless because of all the defunding. We're not used to it here in Illinois because we're actually one of the states that gives a shit about education. But if you look anywhere down south, look at Kentucky or Mississippi or Arkansas, where you see this massive push towards
Mm.
the charter schools and everything, while taking money away from the public schools, so that they effectively are not able to teach children at a reasonable level for their age.
Yes, if you destroy something, yes, it will make it worse. But my point that I'm making, against your point that schooling is only to teach people how to follow instructions, school is very important, public school included. Public school is something that is fundamental to the advancement of any society because it gives knowledge to not the minority, but everyone. And the thing is that yes, is American school mostly designed around following instructions and memorizing? Yes. But I would be willing to bet that no one did that because it was like, ooh, yeah, this will make it so that when they start those factory jobs, they're used to taking orders. It was probably because at the end of the day, someone set up a system that was like, all that matters is test scores. If your test scores are good, then who cares? So at that point, it was just kind of human nature of what's the easiest way we can do this. And the easiest way is we will teach them short term so that they can do the tests and get high scores, but we will not actually teach them how to apply these things in real life. And that's all that's missing from public school. It's the fact of you just need to change it from a focus on tests to real life application. There's a reason why every kid in every math class is always asked, like, when are we ever going to use this in real life? And if your teacher can't answer you, that's a bad thing because they don't know either.
Their answers whenever, kids in my classes asked that was, if you become an engineer, which a very small amount of people do in the grand scheme of things, or if you're going to be a math teacher. Those were their two examples.
There was only one thing I ever learned in math class that I used in my day-to-day life, and
Addition.
that was dividing like the ounces in something by like the amount that it costs to figure out how much you're paying per ounce. But now they
Oh.
just fucking put it on the tags anyways. So there's no I didn't learn did nothing useful.
You learned it
So,
for no point.
yeah,
There's no use to it
point.
anymore.
Right. But again, that kind of goes to just modernization.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were alive back when, every teacher told you you won't have a calculator in your pocket,
Every day.
and they were
They
fucking
told us
wrong.
that while we had smartphones in our pockets. I don't know what the hell they were smoking.
Well, at that
It's
point, it was routine. Any teacher that said it was probably on the older end, and they were still probably using a goddamn flip phone.
That's probably fair.
But yeah, again, for a time, yes, they were right. Like back in the 50s, no, not you weren't gonna have a calculator in your pocket almost ever.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing was like, ooh, I've got a calculator watch. And it was like, wow. But yeah, I mean, it's really a thing of, you know, schools, unfortunately, unless you're talking private schools, and I mean good private schools, really haven't kept up with the times in terms of kind of what's available in order to help teach.
Because most of them
And
don't have the money because they don't get federal funding because they're not, a part of a federal program.
I know, but at the end of the day, it's really just a thing where I don't know, you can shit on schools all you want, and they deserve a lot of shit. I mean, obviously, once you get to college, obviously it's just completely overpriced, and
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
for the most part, it's a nice little scam in order to take kids who don't know what the fuck they're doing and just push out degrees. But public schools, like lower education before college, super important. Like, it's one of the most important building blocks of any functioning society is ready and available knowledge to all people, regardless of status. So, I mean, again, just all going back to your point, I completely disagree with the fact of like it is just to teach people, to follow orders. I mean, if you want to do that, just send your kids to fucking boot camp. I mean, shit, that's free. The military would love to indoctrinate kids so
Yeah,
they'll
that's true.
join the army.
With
Give
the
us your
allure of
kids.
higher education.
Or
Yeah.
the allure of, you can see the world.
Yeah,
What you stationed me in Kentucky? What do you mean?
that's part of the world.
He's got a point.
Not a good part.
Well, should have been more specific when you were signing up. You should have
You're
put that.
right.
You should have put that as your first location then, instead of your third, if you wanted to go to Hawaii.
I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right. I do not want to go. I do not want to live in Hawaii. I'd love to go though.
I mean, I've definitely heard that during tourist season, it's
I just hear
a
shit's
lot.
expensive, just because tourists.
I mean, sure, but again, if you kind of stay away from the more touristy areas, it's like if you go to Chicago versus anywhere else. Yeah, Chicago's just more expensive for everything.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's because a lot of their commerce is tourism. But
We'll look
you,
that percentage
you
up. I'm curious.
if you go to a suburb, no, it's cheaper. And I have to imagine that Hawaii's probably the same in a lot of regards. If you're not going to fucking Honolulu, and instead are going to, one of the smaller islands, I'm sure it's probably a lot more, local culture sort of thing.
Mm,
Now, I
no.
don't know how that translates to a bunch of white people moving in and trying to live there. No clue. It's kind of weird because that's something you don't really see a lot, even in media. Is like, these are Hawaiians, and it's like, oh, okay, only Hawaiian people live in Hawaii. Cool.
So just real quick, apparently tourism, it's only 60% of pre-pandemic levels, but it generated 1.3 billion in tax revenue just from tourism activities.
Damn.
So
And
that's only 60%. So practically double that. We're looking at almost, $3 billion of tax revenue from just tourism a year.
where?
Chicago, sorry.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I mean, again, like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and a lot of the major cities in California. It's all about the tourism.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, they're like, let's be real. Major cities don't put up art, like local artists because they're just like, oh my God, I love this sculpture. No, they're like, ooh, tourists will love this sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You
shit!
know,
That
you know how
reminds me of a
many
place in South Dakota I went to called the Corn Palace. It was just a highway attraction where it was a big like high school looking theater that the entire outside was decorated in corn cob art. And there were signs for it, 100 miles in each direction because that's all there fucking was.
right. I mean, the world's biggest thermometer, it's not because somebody was legitimately just like, God, my dream is to have a big fucking thermometer. It was because somebody said, hey, I'll pay you money to make something that people will come see. And for a while, for some reason, everybody was like, I can make the biggest of this thing.
I mean,
I don't know why, but
bigger's better. Didn't we learn that because of Texas?
No, Texas has taught us many things, but that is not a good one of them.
It's taught me that you don't need gun laws.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, now they're figuring out that they do. I don't know if it was in Texas, but there was that recent shooting by the black kid who specifically targeted white people.
Mm-hmm.
I had not heard about that one. I heard there was another shooting in Uvalde, though.
Yeah, damn, that's actually, I think it was around the same time when you had posted that old people were being extra racist. I guarantee you it was because of that. There was a recent story, if I actually did my research, which, sure I can.
This is a podcast. We don't prepare. What are you talking about?
Wait, targeting is.
Well, while he's doing that, I got this chip here. When should I eat it?
We should do our intro. We 100% didn't.
We're just gonna get a mid-roll intro. I'm leaving. Fuck it. I'm leaving that conversation at the beginning, and that's fine.
Okay.
It was good content.
Let's see.
I would have to cut probably 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Could be this one. It might have been in Alabama. Yep, here it is. So in Alabama, in June, I guess. There might have been a more recent one, but regardless, this is basically the same thing. A black teenager, possibly? No, 39 years old. Okay. So some 39-year-old black guy in Georgia in June shot 5 people in Alabama, specifically targeting white men. And I'm pretty sure one happened more recently. I don't quite remember the details, but I mean,
shit like that happens every day in this country.
Oh.
Racially motivated hate crimes.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Yes. Possibly. Yes. Might also be this. One that happened in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. A 19-year-old man went on a shooting spree, and they believe that it was racially motivated. But anyway, I mean, yeah, it's, this is what happens when, unfortunately, you're just like, yeah, guns for everyone. Like, I mean, what? There was actually the opposite of this. The white shooter that went to a black neighborhood, like specifically targeting black people, and there was even the video of him specifically telling like a white, I think it was a white guy, just like, hey, you're fine, man, you okay? And then went to go kill more people. And like, this is what happens. You are giving a device which all it requires is decent aim and a trigger finger, and you have essentially the power of God. You get to choose who lives and who dies.
Yep.
Wish I had the power of God.
I mean, you do.
No.
You got the power of God and anime on your side, Dan. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Man, God wouldn't be on my side. I make. Oof.
Crazy.
Oh yeah. Sadly, this is the way. This is the world that we built by the laws we made and people.
You say we as if we had a choice in this.
Collect we as in humanity.
Yeah, I mean,
not even
humanity, America.
And not even America. Certain states.
Yeah.
I feel like we just got to blame everybody as a whole.
You really don't, actually. It's completely ridiculous. I mean, gun violence is not something that a lot of the world deals with. And it's always surprising to me that people will just go absolutely apeshit to defend their right to hold a piece of metal that kills other people.
Mm.
I mean, I've shot a gun. It's cool. I mean, I don't see any practical reason for me to ever need to carry it outside with me.
No. I mean, look, I understand having it for home protection. I really do.
Yeah, totally.
Because if someone is breaking into your house, yeah, it's probably not for good reasons. But at the end of the day, you're talking about going outside with a weapon, right? And it's been proven time and time again that if you have a gun on you, you are now more likely to use it for smaller transgressions, smaller aggressions. I mean, police are a perfect example of this. I mean, there are so many situations in which, there is absolutely no reason that a gun needs to be pulled out. Like,
Mhm.
tasers would work just fine. Mace, almost anything.
Yeah.
And some suspect will be, I mean, most times just doing nothing. But they'll be trying to put their hands up. Or, I mean, my favorite are always when the police break into somebody's house,
Mhm.
usually the wrong house.
Yeah, no knock
Um,
warrants.
yeah, the guy owns a gun legally, and because he sees like people are literally breaking into his home, he uses it, and because of that, he is now quote unquote rightfully killed by the police.
Yep. And nothing's going
Like,
to happen to him because of qualified immunity,
right?
because they're police officers.
I don't understand it. I mean, if anything, having a gun on you just seems more dangerous. I mean, like, if the police decide to pull you over, having a gun instantly means that you are now a threat.
Yeah.
And if you got some dude who should not be a cop and is just like sweating bullets and he's like, oh my God, he's got a gun, there's like a 90% chance you die.
Yep. But
But
to
hey,
your point, talking about, tasers and mace, there was a thing that happened last year. I don't know if you guys remember of the cop who was, detaining someone, and she pulls her taser out and
Yes.
or she pulls her gun out, I'm sorry, and is
mhm,
yelling, taser, taser, and then fucking pops him like 2 or 3 times and kills him.
yep. Um,
Apparently found out last year she was sentenced to prison because she was found guilty of manslaughter. So,
Good.
yeah, it
You could,
it is unfortunate when you're a woman in the police force. None of that brotherhood shit happens for women.
I mean,
nope.
it's also well documented that you made a mistake, and
Do you
I'm sorry,
know?
there's no rectifying that
That
one.
Do
that
you guys
doesn't matter.
do you guys remember what happened with the woman who there was a cop who just got off of a shift? I think it was like a stupidly long one
I
too.
think I know what this one
She
is.
had
Yeah,
she had went into what she thought was her apartment, but it was another person's apartment and killed the person.
because
Did
she
she
thought
go
she
to
was in her apartment. Yeah,
Yeah, did she go to prison or was
that I
she
don't know.
protected by like stand your ground bullshit because she
Let's.
thought it was her place?
So she was a cop?
Yeah, she was a
Yeah.
cop.
I guarantee you she's not in jail.
I don't think so either. I just couldn't remember.
Nope, she was convicted of murder.
Really?
Yeah,
I imagine they'd be like,
Interesting.
"Oh no, this is clearly what stand your ground is for when you think you're in danger."
yeah, no, she was
Although
convicted of murder. So,
I will say this is now 2 police officer women who have broken the law and been properly punished.
I mean, maybe there is
Not a lot of
some
other
truth to your
cases.
statement. Then we
I
well,
mean,
not
look,
that's not true. We have the Derek Chauvin thing for George Floyd.
let's be real. Even that took way longer than it should have.
The only
And
reason
if
he
I'm
went to jail was because it was a national story.
exactly. Like, let's be 100% real. And it's 100% the truth is that if it wasn't for recordings, which obviously now police are trying to make it seem like it's illegal to record them.
No, not even
um,
making it seem. One state literally made it to where it is illegal to film police officers within, I think, like 8 feet.
Yeah, so as long as the cops walking towards you, now you're fucked. Now you're fucked. You could be 20 feet away from him recording him, then he's gonna come close to you, and then you're gonna go to fucking prison.
yep. And that's not for the cops' benefit.
Arizona just made it illegal to
Of course.
record a cop within 8 feet.
Of course.
They specifically have to tell you to turn your phone off, and then they can, charge you. But they have to first tell you to turn your phone off.
Okay, cool.
Doing
I
that.
guarantee you the easy way out of that is a simple loophole of I told him and then I shot him immediately.
Yeah.
Does the law say anything about they have to have like a certain amount of reasonable time to do it? No? Oh, okay, cool. Look, at the end of the day, any time that someone says that you are not allowed to record, I mean, first off, there should be more oversight on police in general. It should be honestly a federal crime to turn off your body cam footage, audio or visual at any time.
Why that's
Yeah.
not backed up to a central cloud is unreal to me.
Oh, I agree.
It's because it makes it easier.
Well, yeah, there's
for
no
people
accountability.
to
I totally get why
prosecute
it doesn't
cops.
happen. But like the fact that we're like, yeah, no, this is totally fine. Or I guess we're not, but we can't really do much about it.
I mean, we can, like you just again, we talked about this on the last episode. Go out and vote. Vote for people who actually seem like they'll make a damn change.
Last time we
Stop.
tried that, it didn't happen. So
Who are we talking about in this case?
Donald Trump.
Right.
I don't think Donald Trump really ever talked about any changes that mattered.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I mean, first off, if a politician ever tells you that he's going to clean up, insert, analogy for the current state of politics, that's probably not the guy you want to vote for, because the guy you want to vote for is the one who has an actual plan, who says, like, these are the steps that we need to take in order to, and mind you, like, clean up the swamp. Like, what does that mean? What does that really mean at the end of the day?
It was a catchy slogan. That's all it meant. There was never any meaning to it. People attributed their own meaning
Exactly.
based on what they thought he was talking
Trump
about.
literally said, "Oh, it had no real meaning."
Yeah.
Exactly. And the things that he did have a plan about, the border wall. I mean, shit, even that went poorly.
Yeah. Guys, that
Because
hurricane was totally gonna hit. What was it, Alabama?
the
That he
Sharpie said a
drew on
lot
the
of
map.
things. So, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, if you want to know who to vote for in any given election, I don't care if it's for goddamn student class president. Listen to them talk. Don't look at a news story about what they talked about. Don't get a summary from your friend Jim, who totally watched the debate. I promise I didn't get a beer at some point. Go to the debates. I know it's a hassle. Oh God, I have to be involved in things that will shape the entire outcome of the next X amount of years and affect not just myself, but my children or my friends and family. But like, maybe you shouldn't complain about things if you do nothing to fix it.
This is America, where we have a God-given right to complain about everything while subsequently doing nothing.
I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I 100% believe in freedom of speech to a point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freedom of speech.
As long as that
Yes,
speech
people-
doesn't hurt somebody, then you're good.
Right.
Do I think that should definitely be curtailed for certain things? Yes. I have no idea why it is legal to be a Nazi. No
It
clue.
shouldn't be. You should
Yeah.
be just killed.
Well,
I'm sorry. If you believe in any sort of Nazi rhetoric, you are objectively evil and you deserve to die. And that's just my point.
disagree.
You don't have to agree with me. I'm very harsh on that.
I honestly think that most things in this world that are considered evil are usually just a case of people who are mentally unwell and would probably benefit a lot from therapy and, quite frankly, just cultural exposure. Like, all of those stories about people who were like, yeah, I was in prison, I used to be a skinhead. There's actually a really, well, famous is a strong word, but like really well-known one where there was a guy who had numerous like Nazi, white supremacy tattoos, was a skinhead, went to rallies, shit like that. And basically, after getting out of prison, he got assigned a black female parole officer, and just simply through having her in his life, like learning from her, talking with her, he has done a complete 180. He's like, cannot believe the things that I said and did. He regularly either gets cover-ups or tattoo removal of, like the tattoos that are obviously bad. And he's just like, yeah, it. And that's a perfect example of really what Nazism, racism, sexism is all about. It is people who are clearly going through something psychologically.
I mean,
Something, whether it's what their parents taught them, whether it's through some bad experience or a legitimate just paranoia about people who are different from them. Most problems in the world, and I mean most of them, could be solved if people actually gave a shit about, mental well-being.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely fair. And to go on your point about, that guy learning or just being around an African American woman, um I just read something recently, and I've noticed it just with, people interacting with different cultures and stuff. The more you're around people who aren't like you, the more understanding you become, because you grow aware of other people, other cultures, other traditions, stuff like that. Once you get more of a worldview, it's honestly a lot harder to be a bigoted prick.
Right.
oh, yeah, 100%.
Which again is why so many close-minded people say that, college is brainwashing people to be liberal. And
Too many damn liberals.
Yeah, what it really boils down to, and why you see so many kids come out of college more open-minded than before, is because it does not matter what school you send them to. It could be the most close-minded, conservative, like, if you ain't Christian, get out sort of place. It doesn't matter, because there is some Christian person who probably like spent a lot of their life in Southeast Asia, Northern or Southern Africa, the UK. It doesn't matter. And just by talking with them, just by learning about what they, honest to God, what it really all boils down to is that you just realize that at the end of the day, they're people.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Mhm.
Because it's so easy to put people. And again, I mean, at this point, you might as well just call these segments like Alex talks about favorite sports teams. But that's what it is. It's just, if you can put people into categories, it makes it easier to think of them as just that category.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Christian, Jewish, white, black, Republican, Democrat. And if I'm on team A, of course, I must hate team B, because team B is not team A.
Yeah, Team B doesn't stand for everything Team A stands for, therefore they're the enemy.
Right. It doesn't matter the fact that Team B also loves to breathe and eat and live. What matters is that they have a B at the end of their team, and I have an A at the end of mine. So clearly they must be the bad guys.
People are so good at listening to, just the general mongering of like, oh, these people aren't exactly like us, therefore they're not even human type rhetoric, and it's kind of ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, just to be 100% clear, in case some alien race or future humanity that has met aliens at some point finds this random unimportant podcast,
And humanity.
no.
I'm currently part of it. Wait till I'm not here, then sure.
No, but I mean, my point is, there's gonna come a point where aliens get put into the mix. I guarantee it. Because again, if you think aliens aren't real, like, I'm sorry, even the most conservative odds when it comes down to chances of planets that can support life and then life developing, there are other species out there. Guarantee it. But like, yeah, it literally doesn't matter, even if they're not human. At the end of the day, life is life.
Yep.
And spoiler alert, there are not many religions that I'm aware of that are not advocates for preserving and appreciating life.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know, maybe just go about your day, believe whatever you want to believe, but
Just
stop.
don't be an asshole.
Yeah, just stop trying to enforce it on others. If people want to be gay, let them be gay. I mean, shit. Let's pretend for a second. Let's pretend for a second that being gay is actually a sin, right? So let's also
Mhm.
first pretend that God is real and heaven is real. And at the pearly gates, Peter's going to look at you and say, "Ooh, I noticed you sucked a dick." Mm,
Tough
yes,
break,
no,
bro.
sorry. That's his job. His job is literally to judge people at the gates and determine whether they get in. He's the bouncer.
Yep.
Let the bouncer do his job. Why do you need to punish people for
But no, what's the saying? It's let he without sin cast the first
Yeah.
stone or something. Yeah.
Yep.
exactly? But they don't like to talk about that because it turns out that
Contradicts
Jesus
their
was a
beliefs.
liberal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also wasn't white. We've hit this one before, but Jesus definitely not a white man.
Yeah,
Mm.
my little brown-skinned son of God.
Yep. He's Korean, and that's how it goes. All right.
But yeah,
Korean
that was-
Jesus is wild.
I love
I
Korean Jesus. He's ripped as shit.
yeah. So that was Alex's ranting hour.
Yeah, it was only like what, 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Probably.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can rant about other things.
I mean, we always got more rants.
I mean,
Uh,
hey, let's talk about She-Hulk.
I
It's
have
about
not watched
women.
it and have no interest in watching it.
That's perfect because I haven't seen it yet either. But what I have seen is the reactions
Yeah,
I've seen it all.
to one scene in particular. Well, two
Okay.
scenes technically, but we're going to talk about one.
It is.
Uh,
Hmm.
The
Okay.
She-Hulk twerking scene.
oh,
Okay,
I've heard
okay.
about that one. Okay.
Yes.
I
If
I
you
also
if
I have my
if
opinions on that one as well.
Okay, well, here, how about this? If you have strong opinions about that, especially if they're negative, get a life. Like,
Mhm.
just legitimately take a really hard look at what you are doing with your life. Because
Fucking
first
TV
off,
show.
yes, it is a TV show. Second off, I actually recently found out that that's not even in the main episode. It's part of the after credits.
Yep.
The
I didn't
after
even know
credits
that. That's
have
wild.
Yes, it miraculously it's been kept out of every single thing where they're like, "Oh my god, She-Hulk is the worst Marvel property ever because of this one scene."
You
And
mean
it's like,
cherry
"Hey,
picking information to get the
yeah,
most visceral reaction possible? Who could have seen that coming?
yeah." And
Not
the
me.
only thing I can remember is that people were losing their motherfucking minds at the end of Avengers when the Avengers were eating shawarma. And it's like, why is that okay? Or how about in what was it? Either Endgame or I think it was Infinity War, possibly. Which one was the second
Mhm.
one again?
Endgame.
Was it Endgame?
Mm,
Hmm.
Wait,
No,
are you
Endgame is
talking the
the last
second
one.
Avengers?
Infinity War is the second Avengers movie.
Okay,
No,
then
That's
Age
the
of
third
in
Ultron.
one. That's the third
no,
one.
no, we're talking about the two-part, the last Avengers.
Okay, Infinity War
Endgame.
first, Endgame second.
Yes.
Okay, so Endgame. And people have already brought this up multiple times. Why did nobody complain when Captain America stared at Captain America's ass and was like, "That's America's ass"?
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, people praise that. I thought it was funny, but whatever.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I could tell you my exact reaction when I saw that. I was like, huh, that's weird. And then my brain was like, well, She-Hulk canonically fucks, so I don't. It doesn't really matter.
Right. Now, mind you, did I think that it looked bad? Yes, because I don't think that the CGI in that show is to movie quality.
But
So
it's not a movie.
it doesn't look great. I'm
Hmm.
not gonna pretend that it does. But like I also found out the context is it is She-Hulk essentially twerking with her favorite rapper.
Yeah.
So like what? There is absolutely no reason why any of this blowback should have happened. If you like the show, great. I haven't seen it yet. I plan to, but like, really? You're gonna fight to the death about a show that has a twerking scene as its after credits, which is always for the jokey, like, hey, it's kind of canon, but like it could also not be canon.
If you were gonna complain about the show, I feel like there are a lot of other things that you could go for that would make more sense. And to me, that's. Oop.
Let's talk about those, shall we? Let's talk about those. I don't know why this is a She-Hulk review episode. I haven't seen it yet, but it is now. Oh, hold on here. I got it. She-Hulk is not stronger than the Hulk, and they're just doing this as like a Mary Sue thing where She-Hulk is stronger now for no reason.
I loved seeing that complaint because they clearly didn't even watch the first episode because 100%. She's not.
100%. And again, haven't seen it yet, but I've seen plenty of the clips. The one clip that everybody talks about, which is the throwing the boulders scene. Yeah. She-Hulk, it starts with Bruce Banner as Smart Hulk, which, by the way, legitimately a teaching moment. If you don't know, Smart Hulk is actually a thing in the comics. Smart Hulk is weaker than normal Hulk in every way, because Hulk gets stronger when he's angrier, and Bruce Banner is not an angry person. It is trading intelligence for strength points, or the other way around, whichever one makes more sense.
It still baffles me because in the scene where she's like showing off and stuff, it's him teaching her, here's how to hold back. Mm-hmm. And then he just casually throws a boulder into outer space. He's like, come on.
He didn't even, no, that wasn't even it. The first one was him literally basketball shooting, like just with the wrist, basically, a boulder. And then She-Hulk throws hers a little bit farther with obviously not much more effort, but maybe a little bit more effort. And yeah, did and then obviously immediately after, Bruce Banner picks up a boulder and throws it into orbit. And it's like, what are you complaining about here?
And like, there's this scene where she runs him over, or not run, like kind of like runs him over with a car, and it like pushes him out of the way. One, she was in her human form, so clearly he's not going to kill her to stop the car.
Right.
Because for all he knows, she just dies in that form.
Mm-hmm.
Because she hasn't put a gun to the roof of her mouth and tried to kill herself yet, so we don't know.
That's only in the comics so far?
No, that scene? No, that's in the MCU. Yeah.
Weird.
That's in the Avengers movie. There's a whole scene where he tells Black Widow, where he puts a bullet in his mouth and the other guy spits it out.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think I was thinking of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Yep.
That was anyway. Doesn't matter. So yeah, like, I mean, first off, also, even if she was stronger than the Hulk,
why does it matter? Yeah.
I mean, first off, isn't it literally a thing where you want the next generation to be better than the one that came before?
Yes, but not if they're a woman.
Yeah, well, not just
That's
a
what
woman.
People's issue with it is.
Well, yes, of course it is. I mean, there are people who every time a female superhero is introduced, especially if she's a woman of color, and they're like, I can't believe they're doing this again. They're forcing other, people into my white power fantasy. And it's like, hey, guess what? Miss Marvel, she's always been not white. Always.
Uh-huh.
And she's always been a woman. Miss Marvel as in, Camilla Khan.
Yeah, not Captain Marvel or whatever.
Right. So yeah, like, I hate to break it to you, but they're not just shoehorning it in just to do it. They're doing it because they're actually being faithful to the character.
Those people don't read the comic books, though. I mean, I don't either, but I at least know that. But yeah, the general people who consume the MCU are not the people who read the comic books.
Oh, trust me, I know. I saw a quiz on YouTube, it's like a new poll thing that you can just do. It was basically the question of who's smarter, Tony Stark or Reed Richards. And like 70% of them chose Tony Stark. And I was like, wow.
I don't even know who
None
Reed
of-
Richards is.
He's Mr. Fantastic, the guy
okay.
who stretches.
Yeah, I you said Mr. Fantastic. I know who that is.
Yeah.
I've seen the Fantastic Four.
He is in the MCU, basically one of, if not at least in the top 3 smartest human beings on planet Earth.
When was he in the MCU?
was in
In the
the
most recent Doctor Strange.
Strange movie.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I know they're getting their own movie, but I knew it wasn't out yet.
They've technically had 3 movies.
Well,
None
in
of
the
them have been
MCU
good.
though.
Yeah,
The
you're
old
definitely
ones
right.
aren't canon for MCU.
I know, but still funny.
I saw the first one and then Silver Surfer. I don't think I ever saw the third one.
You're not missing much. Fan Force Pit was not a good piece of cinema, nor comic book cinema.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's that. It was what a mid 2000s movie. Those generally weren't good for superheroes.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2.
I said generally.
I'm just saying. There really weren't that many superhero movies that kind of came out before the MCU. Like, there were some. Most of the Superman movies are bad.
Yeah.
Most of them.
I mean, a bunch of X-Men movies came out before. They're
Those
all okay.
were all pretty bad.
They're
Oh,
okay.
that's not true. X-Men 1 and 2 were great.
X-Men 1 and 2 were
3
great, yes.
Yeah, there's only 3 of them.
No, that came out in that period, yeah.
Yes. I mean, I also think that the newer X-Men movies, again, 1 was really good. 2, which one was 2?
2 was First Class? Question
No,
mark?
First Class was the first one.
Okay.
I like
I
First
guess-
Class.
First Class was good.
I think technically that would be X-Men Days of Future Past was the second one.
I did not see that one, so I cannot speak on that.
That one was really good. I liked that one. And then X-Men 3 was X-Men Apocalypse, which was
I heard
bad.
that one was only okay to, not great.
I mean, it was not good, in my opinion, especially because Apocalypse should be a very easy villain to do, and they did not do him well.
Mm.
But it's a very weird thing for whatever reason, mostly when it comes to superhero movies, the third one is always bad. Spider-Man 3, bad. X-Men 3, bad. the young X-Men 3, bad.
Iron Man 3, bad.
I love that movie.
Iron Man 3, I'm sorry, was not good. Iron Man 1 is still the best one.
Iron Man 3 is only good if you like seeing all the Iron Man suits.
That is true. The Hall of Armor is pretty cool.
I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I didn't see a lot of the issues that a lot of other people did. Again, I think it's very appropriate that Tony Stark kind of inspired like the next generation. Yes, you should definitely have some trauma after nearly getting nuked through an alien.
You're a normal human.
Exactly. Like you're protected by titanium, and it's like if someone gets through that, that's it.
Yeah, he has no he's the one who should be having PTSD because he's the only one who has had no kind of training at all. Isn't a fucking monster or a god.
Exactly.
I'm just human, man.
Yeah, right.
So, like, I didn't have a problem with that. Was the extremist stuff, the stuff that gave them the fire powers, kind of, meh? Yeah, I'm not going to deny that. The Pepper scene, I mean, kind of came out of nowhere. And quite frankly, like, why would you cure her of that? That just seems like a positive all around.
Yeah.
That was my thing, is that at the end I was like, why did you take away the superpowers that gave her like unbelievably good regeneration abilities? But hey, she gets the blue Iron Man suit, so it's okay.
Is she gonna get her own thing in the MCU going forward? Because I feel like they kind of hinted to it at the end of Endgame.
I don't think so.
They've talked about it, but they've also talked about doing Iron Heart. If they do Iron Heart, they're probably not going to do Iron Rescue, which is Pepper Potts in the blue suit.
Gwyneth Paltrow's also fucking weird.
Yeah, she's crazy.
Can I have a War Machine series with Don Cheadle, please? Thank you.
A what?
a War Machine series.
That'd be nice. I mean, if he's going to be in anything, it's probably going to be in Captain America and the Winter Soldier the next season or whatever. Because
Falcon and the Winter
admittedly,
Soldier, yeah.
I thought that was very good.
I enjoyed it. I liked that they're just like, oh yeah, there was a black super soldier in Vietnam, and then America just fucking arrested him after the war.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's a black super soldier, basically a black Captain America that they used during Vietnam to beat the shit out of the Winter Soldier the whole time because communism and all that.
Yeah.
And then after the war, they imprisoned him for I think they said like 40 years or something because he's a black man with superpowers. He could stand up and do something. We can't let him do that.
It also didn't help that as is the custom with super soldier serums, they're never as good as Captain America's, which has never made sense to me.
I guess they have a reasoning for it in the MCU. It's your personality is what it does. It enhances everything, like personality wise, I guess. Because I mean,
no. Well, no. I'm not talking about. I mean, what we're talking about is the serum. How good does it enhance?
Oh yeah, effective it is. No one's as good as Captain America's.
Which is the most baffling thing because
he's the only one. He's like the only one that got hit with the fucking Zeta Ray bullshit too. Everyone else was just like, let me just stab some shit into you. At least MCU wise.
It's crazy to me. You'd think that after fucking what is it?
I mean, Emil Blonsky, his version that he took was pretty strong.
True.
Like it let him fight the Hulk for a while, and that's something.
That is true.
Like if you can lay claim to I have fought the Hulk for a while, that's a pretty big claim, especially if the Hulk is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Which my god.
You're either super lucky, super strong, or you're Spider-Man, which means you're both really unlucky and super strong.
Yep. God, I love that they're bringing Emil Blonsky back in through She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super fun, and I love it. And it's also like spoilers. It's setting up a precedent that's very bad, which I feel like might lead to when they integrate the mutants and stuff. He basically got paroled from prison, for good behavior, and they gave him a collar or something that suppresses his powers. And it's like, if you ever take that off, immediately back to prison for the rest of your life. And I'm like, that's bad. That's a bad precedent.
Hey, to be fair, and this is also for other Alex, as well as anybody who doesn't know, that's a very common thing in every superhero universe.
I know.
Someone somehow figures out that there's a technology which suppresses part of your DNA or a mutation or whatever, which I would love to actually figure out how that works.
I know in this one it's specific to Gamma. It's something that Banner made so that he can because he is Banner Hulk always, and then he invented something to make it where he can become normal Banner to suppress all the Gamma.
Wait,
at least this version of him, he is Banner Hulk always.
You mean like Smart Hulk?
Yes, yeah, okay. Yeah. He is the fusion of them always.
Okay.
And then he makes a device that lets him just be a normal human.
So like how he was in Endgame for the most part.
Yes.
Okay.
So normal Mark Ruffalo, he has a device which allows him to do that whenever he wants.
Okay. Gotcha.
Which, to be fair, is a very integral part of the Hulk character because it is always what Hulk is really represented is obviously man versus beast, basically. The rational side. Exactly. Logic versus anger, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been a thing of Banner is trying to fight Hulk, get rid of Hulk, and Hulk is trying to essentially suppress Banner in his subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And, obviously the best version of Hulk is... It's weird because Smart Hulk is a very different thing, but Hulk Smart, if you want to think of it that way, it is when Hulk is in control, but Banner is giving advice.
Yeah, That is a very interesting Hulk.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's. I mean, actually, a really great example for anybody who's seen either the Flash CW show or Legends of Tomorrow is Firestorm. Firestorm's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
You have the young, reckless, dumb kid who, is actually the body of it, who is fused with a wise, smart older man who's like, hey, do this, dummy. And then he does it, and he's like, ooh, that was smart.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
It
have much to
is
offer. Sorry.
no,
It's
no
okay.
worries.
I mean, hey, honestly, one of the most fascinating things about Marvel and superheroes in general is not necessarily reading about them, it's learning about the circumstances and kind of how the characters respond.
Yeah,
Like,
lore is cool.
I love to learn just about superhero shit that I don't know about
Oh yeah,
because
there's there's a Hulk comic line right now that I really enjoy. It's like Banner is in complete control of the Hulk. Like
oh,
it
are
was
you talking are you
yeah, it's
talking about Starship Hulk?
yes, and
Yeah.
I think that's really neat. It's fucked up.
hmm
He's basically just using the Hulk as a power source just to fuel it's a whole lot of shit. It's really fun, and
For you other Alex, basically it's a weird thing where somehow I think through magic and technology, Banner has effectively turned the Hulk into a machine.
Okay.
Not physically, but like he
Mentally?
controls him. Yeah, he controls him from a command center, basically,
Okay.
inside of the Hulk's mind.
So it's almost like a parasitic kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah, because like the Hulk
Mhm.
just isn't actually a factor anymore. And the worst part is that how Banner basically gets more power from the Hulk is he has Hulk's consciousness in a endless simulator, like mental simulation of like battles. And basically what he can do is depending on how much power he needs, he will simulate stronger enemies that the Hulk has to fight endlessly. So like it might start with like cops with guns and it's
Mhm.
like ooh, slightly strong. And then I think even one of them is like zombies. And
Okay.
then it'll be, some of Hulk's like greatest villains if he needs to really ramp up the power. And so basically what it is he is forcing Hulk to get angrier and angrier and just fight and fight and fight. But yeah, so Starship Hulk, if any of you haven't read it, I definitely do recommend it. It's very interesting.
I don't read comics. I should probably just start reading more. I got a shelf of manga I gotta start reading.
Hmm. I mean, look, if you're not a big fan of kind of what Hollywood's doing with Marvel right now, like, yeah, comics are a really great, and if you know what you're doing, free way to kind of get into it.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Plus, my brother probably has 200 comics sitting in his room if I really wanted to read them.
You should.
Again, I gotta read my manga. I got the hardcover JoJo's that I gotta start reading.
Nah, throw those away. Don't need no
Absolutely.
JoJo.
I spent money on those. Absolutely not. Those are like 18, 19 bucks a piece.
That's a lot.
They're hardcover.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Yes, but again, they're hardcover.
No,
hmm
I understand.
I don't know. I enjoyed JoJo when I read it for free. Oh my god, damn.
I have enjoyed JoJo never. But that's just me.
Hmm. I mean, I think JoJo is a really fun property.
Oh, yeah.
You shouldn't take it seriously, that's for sure. But like, yeah,
No,
it's fun, it's campy, it's a little homoerotic, but hey,
more than a little. Let's be
yeah,
real.
yeah. There's a reason why everybody has 19 abs.
Mm-hmm. Dio's got like shoulder abs. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, you do. We call those boulder shoulders. Yeah, I mean, JoJo in a weird way is I mean, why I also really like it is because it is a much more manageable version of superheroes.
Oh yeah, they all do
Um,
one thing. That's it.
right. And probably one of my favorite things, which I mean, arguably JoJo kind of helped start, is these less shonen type fights where it's basically like just believe in yourself and you'll win. And instead, it's like, hey, these villains have a clear advantage. Figure out how their powers work, and then you have to like basically devise a counter to them.
Yeah, they have to constantly like be working to outsmart their enemies because if they don't, they're gonna lose.
Right. And it's again a really good reason why almost all of the heroes, like the main heroes, their power basically boils down to punch.
Mhm.
I
Or
mean, yeah, Jotaro's before he learns that he is, basically discounts Zellworldo. Um, his literal thing is just like I punch fast.
yeah, literally super speed.
Yeah, super speed, super precision,
Yeah,
like blah blah blah. But
yeah,
well, anyway, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I think JoJo's pretty great
yeah.
for what
No,
it is.
that's one of my favorite series, honestly, and I've been waiting to try and get caught up on the recent release for the anime on Netflix. They just dropped the next 12 episodes
Yeah,
of part 6, so
I would not put JoJo's in my top 10 of animes, but I
oh,
would
it's like top
probably.
3 for me.
Yeah, no, it's not that good.
I love it. It's just so dumb. And that it doesn't take itself seriously, and that's why I appreciate it. Because there's so many other creators who just take all of their properties super seriously, and then you have Araki over here, like, yeah, this one dude, his power is to get really small, and that's it.
Mm.
And that's Ant-Man, basically.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's obviously draws from other superheroes and stuff, but the memes that come out of it are just fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't
Shitpost
deny that.
Crusaders on Reddit.
I have seen fucking JoJo memes. They are a breed of their own.
Yep.
Like I cannot deny that. Ah,
Speaking of memes, the fucking memes that have been coming out since the Queen died are hysterical. Like it's sad that she passed, but doesn't really have
Eh.
any effect on me, so I've been laughing my
I,
ass off.
I don't know if you know who this is, but I know Alex knows who Eddie Burback is. He did a whole stream like right after, basically dedicating the stream to the Queen, and it was very funny. It it was mostly just him, his brother, and another YouTuber just making fun of British people for like 3 hours while playing Kingdom Hearts, and I very much enjoyed it.
I mean, I just find it so funny that people are so concerned about a woman who, I mean, it's especially funny because there's an entire country that is celebrating the fact that she's dead.
Oh yeah, more than one.
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. She wasn't a good person. More likely than not. I mean, there are so many stories about the skeletons in the royal family's closet. I mean, it's insane.
Isn't
Oh
her
yeah,
kid literally a pedophile?
Possibly.
Like,
I wouldn't be
what was it, Prince
surprised.
Andrew?
And then
suspected because
I
we can't.
suppose suspected, yeah.
Well,
and then
he's a pedophile.
whatever it is, there's the running like very popular theory that was it Princess Di? Princess
Yeah,
Di?
Princess Diana. Yeah, that she had her killed.
Yeah, in the car accident. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
I
like,
don't-
and there was also a really great meme where whatever it is, it's fuck, I don't remember what the actual meme was, but basically it's like when the queen gets up to the gets up to heaven and sees Princess Di, and it's just that face of like, like ooh, like ooh,
Awkward.
yeah.
Yeah, it. I find it hilarious that all the stuff people are doing about it, and also I also find it hilarious when I see Americans online being like, "Don't be so callous and stuff." This lady died. She means nothing to us.
Right.
She's basically a celebrity here. And that's as close as you could equate her to because she's
Mhm.
nothing. She's
Yeah.
she's just a person. She was in a James Bond movie. I mean, that's about as much
Yeah, that was
as I
pretty
care
neat
about.
though.
I mean, I won't deny that she has done important things in her life. Like
but still don't care. It'd be the same thing as if Joe Biden died. I don't give a shit.
And
Even-
if he's still president, I would kind of give a shit. But
I
after he's
mean-
not president, yeah.
I just mean like I mean, it wouldn't be the same because Joe Biden has way more power than she does.
Yeah. The royalty is all ceremonial. They don't really oversee any sort of actual governing.
Can't declare war.
Can they?
Yeah.
Huh, I didn't actually know that they still had that power. I figured that was all on the prime minister and parliament.
They have. I don't know if it. I think it's like the way that like a president can declare war. I think it still needs approval.
The president cannot declare war. That is expressly written in
They
the
could do-
Constitution.
they could-
Congress needs to declare war.
No, they could fight for 2 weeks without having to go to Congress. We do it all the time.
Oh no, you're right. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I just mean
like all Congress does is approve the budget. So
yeah, like there's a lot of things the president could do without. He could bomb your house if he wanted to. He just calls you. He just calls you an enemy. You know what? If this was Obama, he might have. That was his thing. But you know, Joe Biden doesn't seem like that's his thing.
it's
At least not yet. We'll see.
Yeah, he's still got another 2 years as president. We'll see what happens when the dementia kicks in.
Yeah, you never know. He's like,
yes.
oh no, the commies, fire!
I mean, look, you are definitely allowed. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion about Joe Biden, and like because obviously he was nobody's first choice.
Oh, absolutely not.
That man has been taking to the social field lately and just been absolutely killing it. Love it.
It's great. He
The man-
gives no
the man-
fucks anymore.
He must have been talking to Obama recently because he's taking some goddamn lessons about just like, hey, like if they hate you, just fucking play into it.
I mean, he probably is. I mean, why wouldn't you? You fucking hung out with that dude in the hung out, worked for 8 years.
I mean, do you not remember the memes that were happening about Joe Biden and Obama being like the bestest friends ever?
Yeah.
They did the video of them running a lap around the White House.
One of my favorite memes is of fucking Joe Biden talking to Obama, being like, "I'm gonna send Trump to the shadow realm. He's not gonna be president." And I'm like, why does he have Yu-Gi-Oh cards? What is the context here? And I'm just like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, I think I know which meme that is. Is the one where like Joe says something crazy, Obama's like, "Joe, calm down," and he's like, "Okay."
I'm gonna send him to the shadow realm. It's like, what? It's like Joe Biden doesn't know what Yu-Gi-Oh is, but I love this.
I mean, he could. He
might. Maybe there's context to that I don't know, but I just find it hilarious. That
I'm not saying it's a real thing like that Joe Biden actually like knows or plays Yu-Gi-Oh, but like Joe Biden would have been what? Like how old is he currently? He's 79 years old, and Yu-Gi-Oh came out in
I'm gonna guess the 90s.
1999.
Yeah, so at least a Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game. It says it was publication 1999, so 23 years ago. So like there's nothing that says that a 50-year-old Joe Biden didn't pick up fucking Obelisk the Tormentor and was like,
This is great.
I'll do something with this.
It totally could have. And man, was that a good guess? I had no fucking idea. Yeah,
I mean, I think technically the manga of Yu-Gi-Oh was out a lot earlier, but that was before the card game was solidified.
I would love after Joe Biden's done being president and he's not going to run for office anymore. We just get a shirtless pic of him on the street and there's or like on the beach and there's just all 3 of the Egyptian god cards on his back. I would fucking love that. I'd be like, I don't care what he did or didn't do, best president ever.
I mean, hey, look, you can say whatever you want about Obama. Yes, he did bomb a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna let you slide on that one.
he also let Key and Peele at the presidential speeches so that they could do Obama's angry black interpreter.
Yeah, so far Obama best president because of that. That was so fucking cool.
That
dude was a man of memes.
That and the one time that he dropped the pencil during a conference and was like, "Thanks, Obama."
Wait! I remember the video of him, trying to dunk the cookie in milk, and he did the whole "Thanks, Obama," and that shut down the subreddit.
I love that meme so much because it invaded other countries too. You see the Japanese girl fall, and she's like, "Arigato, Obama-san." I'm like, this is fucking awful. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like,
I mean,
why
look,
the fuck would they say that in Japan? It's so weird.
nobody can take away from Obama that he was definitely the coolest president.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Bill Clinton. That man played a saxophone.
That man got a blowjob in the Oval
Yeah.
Office. That is some shit.
Well, I mean, Barack probably did too. We just don't know about it.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Brock's
just saying.
classy.
I love all the memes that I've seen about fucking Bill, and it would just be like, he's basically our first black president. It's like eating fried chicken in the White House, playing basketball, does jazz. It's like, I guess he's our first black president. I thought that was so funny.
It would be very odd if I ever became president because, yes, there would just be like Popeye's deliveries going to the White House very often.
God.
You wouldn't be the first person to have Popeyes delivered to the White House. I can guarantee you that Donnie T did too.
Was it Reagan? He had McDonald's delivered to the White House.
That's too. It's KFC.
That doesn't surprise me, actually.
I can't remember if it was Reagan or what president it was, but some president, I don't know if he smoked with Willie Nelson, but he was there when Willie Nelson was smoking pot on the roof of the White House. I can't remember what president it was.
That also sounds like a Clinton thing.
Yeah,
I cannot imagine how many rolls have been just burnt inside of those hallowed halls.
So many. There's no way that presidents haven't been getting fucked up forever.
100%.
Because
I'm sure at one point it was opium and oh yeah. The only thing that probably hasn't is crack, and that's because the president knows that it was invented specifically to destroy minorities.
God, again, my brain failing me on remembering what president. I think this Google. I'm gonna have to Google it. I think it was Clinton. Some president decided that they were doing like a sting operation for crack, and they were gonna like televise it, and he was just like, you know what? Someone get a hold of the people doing this sting and get them to do it like right in front of the White House. And they did it, and then the guy got fucking arrested. And I'm like, that's so fucking funny that the president's like, oh, I'm gonna be doing a thing later, so you know what? Why not have it right in front of the White House?
I don't want to watch this on the news. I want to watch this shit live. Bring it to me.
It was like in the park, like right across the street. I'm like, that's so funny.
The president sat on his goddamn lawn chair with a bucket of popcorn, and he's like, "Yeah, beat his ass."
Like, to me, that is like the antithesis of what it is to be an American leader. It's like, man, can we just do it closer? I'm like, all right.
What kind of dumbass sells drugs across the street from the White House?
I think it was a kid too, and I'm like, that's so funny.
Oh man.
Like,
what president was it?
I can't remember. I'm gonna Google it right now.
I thought you were Googling it this whole time.
Oh no, I decided against it.
I mean, and unfortunately, the worst thing is I have to give Donald Trump credit because Donald Trump did give us the amazing, spectacular thing of his press conference at the Four Seasons.
Yeah. You can thank Rudy Giuliani for that one.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Next to the sex shop. Oh, that was
it was Bush.
Which Bush?
W. It's got
W. Bush.
Okay.
Yeah. Or no, it was
that seems
senior
pretty in character for him.
It was George W. It was 1989.
So that was HW.
Yes.
Boo. I could totally see George W. doing that. Come on, guys, can't you?
Yeah. He had DEA agents do it. He basically sent them to buy drugs for the president. He had the coke during a press conference. That was funny.
I mean, hey man, that's entrapment.
I mean, he basically set that guy. He was like, I got a story to tell on the news, so we're gonna do it my way.
Man, I wanted it to be W
for the interview on his way to the fucking prisoner transport. What were you thinking selling drugs by the White House?
The president wanted this.
I thought it was going to be a good story that I could tell my bros. I mean,
Nah, I like it. I like it a lot better that the president goes into the interrogation room and God, how does George H.W. sound?
I don't even know.
I don't know. Well, voice of George H.W. is just like, we'll let you go if you maybe give me a discount on that Hawaiian mama. You know what I'm saying?
And you just, Secret Service agent right next to him. God damn it, Mr. President.
But man, I was so excited for it to be George W. Bush. I could just imagine him out in the lawn just like, hey, come on. No, that's Clinton. Damn it.
You're close.
I mean, you're still pretty close.
People
do
can
sound pretty
profession like
similar.
that. Because they're both like Southern guys. That's just kind of how they sound.
Yeah,
I
but
don't think Clinton's
just like,
Southern.
yeah,
Isn't
he's
he?
kind of.
I thought he
not
was
Southern, but
I know Bush is. He's from Texas.
Bill Clinton, where's he from? I would like to know where he was born.
he was born
Arkansas.
Yep.
Okay, he is a Southern boy.
I thought he was Southern.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of.
He sounds Southern at
He
least.
kind of sounds like this.
Yep. So does Bush. Like, to be honest.
I mean, Bush was definitely more like Texan. He was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I can even.
Lazier.
What is it? It's like Nickler. Yeah, I keep defaulting to Clinton. I can't do it.
Man, Bush does seem exactly like the president that would be smoking pot or like getting his Secret Service to go buy him pot.
100%.
I mean, if you've watched Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay, you're 100% right.
Classic movie.
I loved.
They drop into his house, and he's like, "Oh, you guys smoke Kush?"
One of my favorite, nothing to do with drugs. One of my favorite clips from Family Guy that has Bush in it is just him showing up to Iraq. He's like, "Woo, I'm ready for the war, sir. The war's been over for like 10 years now. What do you mean?" And I'm like, I could 100% see him doing that. Just completely forgot everything that happened during his presidency.
At least
apparently
4 Brazilian people were killed.
Oh my god! Apparently, he's pretty good at painting.
Actually, I did hear that. Yeah, that makes sense. He was a well-educated man. He probably had time for that sort of hobby when he was younger.
He also was a great cheerleader.
Yeah. Isn't his cheer outfit like on display at his high school?
Probably.
I would hope so.
Which probably does also imply that he's got a great ass, but that's a conversation for another day.
Is it over? Like,
no.
Oh,
I was just waiting for you guys to continue.
I didn't know where to go for it. I thought you were trying to end it.
Nope. I mean, we have been recording for an hour, but no, I mean, we keep going. Actually, we've been recording for an hour and a half. Might as well go for another half hour. Nah, we'll do another half hour, and then we'll have 2 episodes.
Okay, that's fine. We can do
one
that.
mega episode.
I don't think anyone wants to listen to this shit for 2 hours straight.
Everybody post in the comments down below on the websites that allow you to comment whether you would like us to do an hour long or a 2 hour long. Do it for the video in which the podcast recording that we are doing, debating about whether we should do for an hour or 2 hours. That's the joke for the people who didn't get it.
Yeah.
8 hour long episode. Let's go.
I mean, we would just stream it at that point. Fuck. Oh, I don't know if I ever told you guys this, but a few weeks ago, before school had started, kids are so unintentionally fucking funny sometimes. But
I do know this, yes.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I don't think I ever told Alex. I'm pretty sure I told you though, Dan. So we were doing Chromebook handout. All the kids get their own Chromebook that they get to keep for all 4 years of high school, and then after they graduate, it's their computer because they effectively paid for it through all their fees. So, kids coming in, whatever, give us your name. We'll go find your Chromebooks. They were already all pre-assigned. We just handed them a box, made them sign a sheet of paper. So as this one kid walks up, he comes up and, I give him the piece of paper. I give his name to my coworker, and he goes to find the computer. I'm like, all right, fill this out. Just write your name here. And kid, dead ass, turns around, looks at his mom and says, I don't know my name. He had just told it to me seconds prior. So I thought it was, just him making a joke, because that seems like something a freshman in high school would do.
Yeah.
So I chuckle a little bit. That was not what I should have done, because immediately the kid, he was looking down at the paper after that. He looks up at me, looks me dead in the eyes and says, don't worry, I'm not autistic. And his mom was like, dude, nobody was accusing you of that. Like, what? And I'm just like, oh, yeah, no, like, I didn't think so. I'm sorry if, you felt that way. Kid, I'm certain 100% on the spectrum.
Hey, look, everybody's got those moments, okay?
Okay, but that's the
I'm
story of this child is not done yet. So after we got him his Chromebook and he gets in line to go get his ID picture taken, we were in the gym. The lighting was not great. The background was also not super great. It was like a blue sheet that we had taped to the wall. So it wasn't super conducive for photo taking. But anyway, he gets his picture taken, and I didn't hear this because I was, helping out other kids who were in line. But my coworker who was sitting next to me overheard them on their way out and heard the kid say to his mom, "Mom, the picture's so dark. What if people think I'm Nigerian?" Now, mind you, this kid is probably Hispanic, if I had to guess. I don't remember the name, but I kind of remember how he looks, and I'm almost certain he was Hispanic. So the fact that he said that was hysterical, and he was 100% serious. Kids are so unintentionally funny, it's unreal.
Look, man, you don't want to be mistaken for a Nigerian kid. It's not how you have a good school year.
Yeah, I can't be mistaken. Yeah. What if they try to feed me Nigerian food? I don't know. Oh God!
What is Nigerian food?
I don't even know. I would try it though.
What is? Hold on, Nigerian food. What is Nigerian food? That's actually what is a famous Nigerian food? Pounded yam, beans porridge, a thing of rice, thin strips of seasoned grilled beef, fried plantain. I'm not a big plantain guy, not gonna lie.
Plantain chips are good.
Ground melon vegetable soup, Nigerian egg rolls. It says it's not what you're thinking. Thanks. And something called puff puff, which is sweet deep fried dough.
All right.
Is that what you're thinking? I don't know.
I don't know. Like, literally, it's just one of the things. It's like, what is famous Nigerian food? And one of them is Nigerian egg rolls. In parentheses, it's not what you're thinking. So, I don't know.
I mean, okay.
I didn't think it was a literal egg roll, if that's what they're implying.
I mean, I feel like that's a fair assumption, considering it's a Nigerian egg roll.
Based on the name, you would think so. I remember whenever I was younger, I didn't know what the hell food really was, and I thought an egg roll was literally just like an egg that they rolled out like dough.
I mean, I'm like I mean, they rolled out the dough, so
yeah, but like there doesn't have to be egg in an egg roll. That's just kind of what it's called.
All right. Are we officially ending the podcast at this 2-hour mark?
Oh wow, we're actually at 2 hours.
We're at an hour and a half. What are you talking about?
It tells me 2 hours.
What are you talking?
It is actually on Craig.
Craig's telling me 2 hours.
It started 2 hours ago.
We started at 8:27. It's 9:57.
Oh, I could do the math there. It's telling me 2 hours, man.
I mean, look, if you guys want to end it here, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, we can.
It's mostly so it's not an uneditable mess.
I guess that's fair, because I guess to download if we don't want it to mess up.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
The longer we go, the more it might fuck up.